Have you ever made a small mistake that stayed with you, even years later? As we grow older, the weight of our choices, both big and small, starts to echo more strongly in our lives. The daily habits we hold on to, the things we ignore, and the way we treat ourselves all compound over time. What felt harmless in our 50s or 60s can quietly shape our happiness, health, and independence in later years. In this video, we'll explore 8 surprisingly common mistakes that many seniors make without realizing how damaging they can be. These aren't the usual pieces of advice you've heard 100 times. They're the hidden habits and overlooked decisions that slowly chip away at your well-being, your relationships, and your peace of mind. Stay with me until the end, because recognizing even one of these mistakes early on could save you years of regret and help you build a stronger, happier future. Let's begin with the first one, neglecting social connections. One of the most damaging mistakes older adults make, often without even noticing, is allowing their social world to quietly shrink. Retirement arrives, children move away, friends pass on or become less mobile, and before long, the once busy calendar grows quieter. What begins as a few peaceful weekends can slowly stretch into months of isolation. Many seniors don't even realize it's happening until loneliness has already taken hold. But loneliness isn't just a passing feeling, it's a serious health risk. Research shows that chronic loneliness increases the chances of cognitive decline, heart disease, depression, and even early death. And the hardest part? It doesn't announce itself loudly. It creeps in silently, disguised as rest, comfort, or independence. Skipping a gathering here, ignoring a phone call there, it all adds up. Think of Walter, an 82-year-old man who used to spend weekends playing cards with neighbors. After a minor fall, he skipped a few games to rest. Those weeks turned into months. Soon, his phone stopped ringing. He told himself he enjoyed the peace and quiet, but deep down, he missed the laughter, the teasing, the joy of being remembered. He wasn't miserable, but he wasn't fully alive either. The truth is, you don't need a crowd. One phone call, one lunch date, or one weekly book club can make all the difference. Sometimes the bravest act isn't facing illness, it's picking up the phone and saying, "Hey, I was thinking about you." There's no age limit on friendship and no expiration date on the need to feel seen and valued. If you've pulled back from people, not by choice but by habit, it's never too late to step forward again. Because when we stop connecting, we don't just lose others, we slowly lose parts of ourselves. Now, the second mistake, ignoring physical health until it's too late. Too many older adults treat health as something to worry about only when problems arise. But by the time a crisis forces you to act, the damage may already be done. Skipping checkups, avoiding screenings, or brushing off small aches because that's just old age, can allow manageable issues to grow into life-changing ones. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone say, "I wish I had gone to the doctor sooner"? A little pain in the knee can turn into limited mobility. Mild shortness of breath could signal heart trouble. Neglecting dental care may lead to infections that affect the entire body. These problems rarely strike overnight, they build quietly, year after year. But here's the good news, small daily choices matter just as much as medical visits. Seniors who stay active, eat nourishing foods, and prioritize sleep often discover that they feel not just healthier, but more alive. It's not about trying to look young again, it's about giving yourself the strength, balance, and energy to truly live in the years ahead. Take Susan, a 74-year-old who brushed off her doctor's advice to exercise. She felt fine, so why bother? But over time, her muscles weakened, her balance faltered, and even simple daily tasks became harder. The cost of neglect wasn't immediate, but it was undeniable. Susan's story is a reminder that health is something we either invest in daily or pay for later. What started as a simple fall over the edge of a rug left her with a broken hip, months of painful recovery, and a heavy regret. She often said she wished she had listened sooner. And she's not alone. This is one of the most common patterns among seniors. Taking care of your health doesn't mean living in constant fear of illness. It means respecting your body enough to notice its signals and respond with care instead of denial. A brisk walk, staying hydrated, light stretching, and regular checkups aren't luxuries. They're investments in your freedom to live the life you want. If you're still with me and finding these insights valuable, comment number 2 below so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our future videos. Your support helps us keep creating helpful content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move to the third mistake, holding on to grudges from the past. This is one of the most underestimated habits that quietly steals peace in old age. Maybe it's a betrayal that never healed, a harsh word from a sibling that still lingers, or a misunderstanding that broke a relationship you once cherished. The details vary, but the outcome is the same, bitterness that stays long after the moment has passed. Many assume that age naturally brings wisdom and peace, but time alone doesn't heal wounds. In fact, it can give us decades to carry the weight if we never let go. Holding on to old pain is exhausting. It eats away at joy, clouds the present, and even makes the body feel heavier, as if anger seeps into the bones themselves. There's a saying, holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. Often, the one who wronged us has already moved on. They may not even remember what they said or did. But every time we replay it, our mind and body relive the hurt. Take Frank, a 78-year-old retired principal who hadn't spoken to his brother in over 30 years because of a fight over inheritance. Each Thanksgiving he'd say, "He knows where I live," but deep inside, Frank was the one suffering, not because of the dispute, but because of pride. In his quiet moments, he often wondered what might have happened if he had just picked up the phone. Forgiveness doesn't mean pretending the hurt never happened. It doesn't mean you agree with what was done. It means valuing your peace of mind more than being right. Your years are too precious to spend looking backward. You don't even have to tell the other person, you can simply choose to release that weight. And when you do, you'll find peace, lightness, and freedom you may not have realized you were missing. That freedom belongs to you, not someday, but today. The fourth mistake is living without a sense of purpose. After retirement, when the job ends, the kids are grown, and daily routines loosen, many older adults quietly slip into a life that feels calm at first but soon turns hollow. Purpose isn't just for the young, it's the fuel that makes life feel meaningful. Without it, days blur together, mornings feel empty, and evenings stretch long and uneventful. Too much rest can slowly turn into waiting rather than living. Purpose can be found in the smallest things, a hobby, a volunteer role, mentoring, caring for a garden, or even learning something new. It's about having a reason to wake up with energy and anticipation. Studies show that having purpose is one of the strongest predictors of emotional well-being in later years. It keeps the heart engaged, the mind active, and the spirit alive. Do you want me to continue rewriting mistakes 5 through 8 in the same detailed, storytelling style so you'll have the full script ready for your video? The truth is, many seniors believe that purpose has to be something huge, like volunteering at every event, writing a book, or traveling the world. But in reality, real purpose often hides in the simplest of moments. It can be as small as teaching your grandson how to plant tomatoes, visiting a neighbor who lives alone, organizing family photos, or sharing old stories that carry wisdom forward. The real question isn't, what big thing should I be doing, but rather, what makes me feel useful, needed, and alive? Take Helen, for example. At 76, she had just retired from her job as a librarian. At first, she told herself she was finally resting. But soon, her days started to feel empty, just television, quiet lunches, and long stretches of silence. Deep down, she knew something was missing. Then one day, a neighbor mentioned a local children's reading program. Helen joined, thinking it would simply help pass the time. What she didn't expect was how much joy it would bring back into her life. Just 30 minutes of reading to kids each week gave her energy, laughter, and a renewed sense of connection. That's the power of purpose. It doesn't have to be grand, it just has to be yours. When you find that thread, whether it's giving, mentoring, creating, or simply showing up, you rediscover a sense of direction that no retirement clock can ever take away. Life becomes less about counting the days and more about making each one count. If you're still with me and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 4 below so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that button and turn on the bell so you don't miss more videos like this. Your support means a lot and helps us keep making content to inspire and guide you. Now, let's move to mistake number 5, refusing to ask for help when you need it. This is a quiet kind of suffering that many older adults go through, not because of illness or money problems, but because of pride. Somewhere along the way, we were taught that being independent means never needing anyone. And while independence is beautiful, isolation disguised as independence can slowly steal away joy and well-being. Many seniors would rather struggle in silence than admit they need a hand. Whether it's reaching for something on a high shelf, managing medications, keeping up with bills, learning new technology, or simply coping with grief, there's a fear that asking for help means weakness. But here's the truth, asking for help isn't a sign of failure. It's one of the bravest acts of strength. It means you still value yourself enough to take action. Let's look at George, a 79-year-old widower. He prided himself on being self-sufficient. But little by little, things slipped, meals skipped, bills unpaid, calls from the doctor ignored. His daughter only discovered the situation months later when she visited and found piles of unopened mail. George didn't want to be a burden, didn't want to admit that grief and daily responsibilities had become too much. But when he finally let others in, his life began to open again. Asking for help doesn't mean losing control, it often means gaining it back. It's about recognizing that life is not meant to be lived alone. We are built for connection, for mutual care, not for silent endurance. Whether it's asking a neighbor to help with a chore, letting family know you need more check-ins, or reaching out to a counselor or support group, these are not signs of weakness, they are signs of wisdom. The strongest people aren't the ones who never need help. They are the ones who know when to ask, so they can keep showing up fully for themselves and for the people they love. Now let's move to mistake number 6, dwelling on the good old days and rejecting the present. This one sneaks into many lives quietly. It often begins harmlessly, with fond memories, old songs, favorite stories from the past. Many seniors enjoy reminiscing about the past, sharing childhood stories, remembering their youth, or saying, "Those were the days." And there's nothing wrong with nostalgia. Beautiful memories can bring comfort and joy. But the problem begins when those memories become the only lens through which we see life today. That's when we miss the treasures that are still unfolding right in front of us. You've probably heard phrases like, "Life was better back then," or "Nothing's the same anymore." While those thoughts may feel true sometimes, holding on to them too tightly can quietly steal the happiness of the present moment. Take Martha, for example. She's 81. She often told her friends, "When I was young, people had manners. Today, no one respects anything." Slowly, that mindset made her withdraw. She stopped attending community events, avoided younger neighbors, and spent more and more time alone. What Martha didn't realize was that her longing for connection hadn't disappeared, the world had simply changed, and she had chosen not to change with it. The truth is, when we cling too tightly to the past, we unknowingly build walls between ourselves and the people who want to connect with us today, especially younger generations. But when we stay open to new music, new technology, new ideas, we don't just keep our minds sharp, we also keep our hearts soft. The past will always hold treasures, but it shouldn't be the only source of meaning. There are still sunrises to watch, friends to laugh with, recipes to try, books to read, jokes to hear, and lessons to learn. The world may feel different than it used to, but you still belong here. You are not a guest in the present, you are an active, living part of it. And when you embrace today, not just to endure it but to explore it, you rediscover a purpose that has no expiration date. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights meaningful, comment number 6 below so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that button and turn on the bell so you don't miss future videos. Your support helps us keep creating content to inspire and guide you. Now let's move forward. Mistake number 7, letting fear dictate your decisions. As we get older, caution often increases. We've seen enough in life to know what can go wrong, and that awareness is valuable. But too often, seniors let fear, not wisdom, take the wheel. Fear of change. Fear of failure. Fear of discomfort. And while a little caution is healthy, too much of it quietly builds a cage around your life. It usually starts small. You decline an invitation because you don't know many people there. You avoid trying a new hobby because you're afraid you won't be good at it. You stay home instead of traveling because you fear it might be inconvenient. You avoid conversations about money or health because you're worried about what you might hear. And slowly, fear begins making choices you never agreed to. But remember, fear itself isn't the enemy. Fear is just a signal, something to notice, not something to obey. When fear starts deciding where you go, what you try, and who you let in, it doesn't protect you, it robs you. It takes away growth, excitement, connection, and the pride that comes from overcoming challenges. Think about Harold, 72 years old. He always wanted to paint but never picked up a brush. He told himself, real artists start young. I'm too old now. The truth was, he was afraid. Afraid he'd look silly, afraid his work wouldn't be good enough. Then one day, his granddaughter gave him a watercolor set for his birthday and said, "Grandpa, I want you to paint with me." That small encouragement gave him the courage to try. And what he found wasn't mastery or fame, it was joy. Pure joy. That's the lesson. Fear always whispers, "Stay safe," but in reality, it keeps us small. In later life, shrinking your world out of fear doesn't protect you from regret, it often guarantees it. So try the new thing. Ask the question. Do the thing that scares you, even just a little. Because more often than not, that's exactly where new joy and new life are waiting for you. Because often, that's exactly what expands your world instead of shrinking it. You've already done the hardest part, you've lived. So don't let fear begin writing the rest of your story. Number 8, avoiding conversations about death, finances, and legacy. One of the quietest yet most harmful mistakes many seniors make is avoiding the big conversations, the ones about death, money, and what happens after they're gone. These topics feel heavy, uncomfortable, even frightening. But pretending they don't exist doesn't make them go away. It only leaves confusion, stress, and sometimes even conflict for the very people you love the most. Many older adults think, "I don't want to be a burden," or, "There's still plenty of time." But the truth is, preparing for the end of life is not morbid, it's an act of love. It's a way to care for your family one final time, to leave clarity instead of chaos, peace instead of questions. That means making sure your will is up to date. Having honest discussions about where important documents are kept. Making your healthcare wishes clear. Deciding who will handle things if you cannot. These aren't just legal details, they are emotional gifts. They say, "I cared enough about you to make this easier." Take Louise, age 84. She always avoided conversations about money and end-of-life planning with her children. Whenever they brought it up, she brushed it off, "Don't worry about all that." But when a sudden stroke left her unable to speak, her family was left scrambling. They didn't know her wishes. Important decisions had to be made in the middle of grief and stress. And while they did their best, Louise's silence left more pain than peace. Now contrast that with Leonard, age 79. One weekend, he sat down with his 2 sons and walked through everything, not just paperwork, but his thoughts, his wishes, even the song he wanted played at his funeral. It wasn't an easy conversation, but it brought them closer. They laughed, they cried, and they understood each other more deeply. When Leonard passed 2 years later, his family knew exactly what to do. They mourned with certainty, not confusion. Having these conversations doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're taking control. It means you're still living intentionally, even while planning for the end. Most importantly, it gives you a chance to define your legacy. Not just through money or property, but through values, stories, and clarity. You've lived a full life. You've earned the right to shape how it will be honored, remembered, and carried forward. Don't leave that to chance. Speak your wishes. Write them down. Have the courage to look at the final chapter with the same wisdom you've carried through all the others. That, more than anything, is a gift your loved ones will never forget. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, take a moment to reflect on the 8 common but unexpected mistakes we've talked about. Which one spoke to you the most? Did you recognize any of these patterns in your own life, or perhaps in the life of someone close to you? Remember, growing older isn't about avoiding every mistake. It's about recognizing where we still have the power to change, to grow, and to make our remaining years not just longer, but richer, more meaningful, and more connected. These lessons aren't shared to shame or scare you, but to remind you that it's never too late to course correct. Even small changes made today can bring enormous rewards tomorrow. So I invite you, take just one of these lessons and put it into action this week. Maybe it's calling an old friend, scheduling that overdue checkup, or simply writing down your wishes. You don't need to do it all at once. Just begin. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your own life. Reading your comments gives us motivation and encouragement to keep going. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.